Halloween starting to become the new Christmas? I'm serious. You walk through society. This has become a bigger deal than I ever remember it being. What do you guys think about this?
I dropped off my daughter at cheer, trick-or-treating Halloween party. Dropped her off at gymnastics, trick-or-treating Halloween party. Then dance, bags of candy every single day with her activities.
Yep.
Brutal.
Yeah. And you know, you walk through the stores and the shelves are empty. People
Yes.
are just buying up the candy like crazy. So
Well,
yeah.
and it's been in the store since August, right?
Oh,
I mean,
that's true.
literally in August, huge displays of candy.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Well, and even how about, I know this isn't related to food, but just so many people decorate for Halloween. It's
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
like, you know, the Christmas, you go around, you see all the decorations. It's all there for Halloween as
Nancy
well.
Susan just wrote that. The lights people
Oh.
put on their houses
There you go.
more than ever and earlier than ever. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
it just seems to be becoming a bigger and bigger deal culturally. I think that while it may not have reached the heights of Christmas yet, it certainly is a bigger deal than ever. And
And it lasts a lot longer too. I'll just throw that in.
yeah, absolutely. And there are an awful lot of temptations that are involved with it. We were all marveling at, Kate, you looked up a few different articles about Halloween, about the purchasing patterns of people. And one of them was a historical review of Halloween candy purchasing from 2010 to 2021. In case there's any question about whether or not Halloween is in its heyday, let me just take one more second, guys, and just share my screen very quickly here. This slide, we all had a reaction to it earlier today. Look at that. Halloween candy purchasing plans, historical 2010 to 2021. The obvious dip in 2020, right, with COVID.
Mhm.
So Nancy, what is your reaction? Is Halloween, is it passed us by, or are better times, is its apex in front of us? Maybe.
It's just shocking how much it's gone up this year. And it's like, you know, the highest other one, it's like $0.3 billion, billion dollars more. And,
Yes.
you know, you go from 2010 and just 11 years, it's, you know, doubled. I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
I mean, that's phenomenal. And somebody was saying in here that, you know, related to the decorations, it's second to Christmas, how much money is spent on
Yeah.
decoration. So
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah.
I believe that. And any question about where it's going, just look at the broad trend here. Take COVID out of it, and it's just soaring.
Mhm.
All right, so let's put a little bit of a finer point on it, guys, and asking all of our viewers, thanks for being here. What is challenging about Halloween? It seems like a bit of a softball question, but when we were brainstorming our answers in preparation for this conversation, there's actually quite a few different things that come into play. So,
yes, and please post your answers. Let's
please
let's
post.
get lots of answers.
what is
What's
challenging?
challenging about Halloween?
Yeah.
And we have Coach Jennifer C. in the feed, who's going to be a part of our event this evening, chiming in, asking questions as well.
Eloise, it's not just a kid's holiday anymore.
That's right.
Adults too.
So true.
Totally true. Yes. And
Yeah,
Mhm.
kids have candy in the house for weeks. The kids.
Mhm.
All right, what are parties? Nicole's saying parties.
Well,
Yeah, there's
David,
Halloween
yeah,
parties now, aren't there?
that's right. David brings up a good point that, you know, we could be using all of our holidays this year to blow off steam or
Yeah.
just to
Yeah.
catch up from last year, you know.
Right, yeah.
And yeah, so
Returning with vengeance.
that's right.
But it's kind of a double whammy, right? Because people didn't do very well, generally speaking, the broad trends culturally with their weight and their
Mhm.
lifestyle choices during COVID. But then coming out of COVID, it's whew, now let's like really embrace life, which usually means lots of indulgent food. And
Yeah.
certainly
Eloise wrote the
is part of it.
post-Halloween candy sales. I unexpectedly had to grab a prescription last year on November 1st, and literally the candy was cents. I actually was surprised I had any left over because
I was
didn't
going to
see any earlier in
say
the week.
this year, yeah.
So
Yeah.
cheap.
Yeah. You know,
Angela, this is interesting. I like, Angela said, nostalgia. Love going through the candy and picking my faves, just like when I was young. It's a source of instant happiness. So something about that.
Yeah.
And then Susan said it revolves around sugary food, and there are multiple events. So these are all really good challenges.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Candy smells so good. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, you know, it also, beyond the candy, guys, isn't this is sort of a night of festivity for a lot of people?
Yeah.
It's
For
there's
sure.
sort of a party atmosphere to the whole Halloween event, and with the party atmosphere, oftentimes that's accompanied by, let's say, higher calorie meals or snacks that accompany the night. So, like, what comes to mind in terms of what might be a typical Halloween night dinner for the average person?
Pizza instantly comes to
Yeah.
mind.
At
Yeah,
pizza, probably
definitely.
number one, or some other takeout.
Takeout,
That's
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then probably munchies around, chips and dips and things like that.
Yeah.
And then for adults, probably alcohol involved,
Mm.
right?
Possibly.
Hanging around visiting with the neighbors or trick or treating and kind of keeping themselves warm. So that's another, I
Lots
have
of
a lot
people
about
walking
pumpkin
around
beer,
with a
like,
beverage.
Yeah, yeah.
So lots of challenges, whether it's the candy that night, whether it's the candy after the fact. We had conversation about candy in the office earlier too. I mean, people bring it in, right? Oh, I'm going to get it out of my house. And where do they bring it? If you're going into the office, that can be sometimes a treacherous environment.
landmine.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then you've got all of the other, these just sort of festive foods that tend to have more calories than when you've got a night where you're really focusing on calorie management. So more challenges than ever. That's why we really wanted to have this episode. We're going to have two themes that we want to continue to repeat throughout this conversation. The first one relates to calories and just the brute fact that there are almost always more calories involved than we think. Isn't that just the truth, guys? And we're going to
Absolutely.
really unpack that premise. No matter how careful we're being, no matter how conscious we're trying to be with our food choices, there are almost always more calories involved than we think. So given that, that's our first big theme, a sort of a cautionary note of their calories are everywhere more than we think. The second theme is you've got to have a plan. So get your Halloween examples ready to our viewers. And also, if you could be prepared to share, and we'll repeat this a few different times during our conversation, what are you planning to do to stay on track? If you have ideas, we'd like to hear them. If you haven't really thought about it, that's understandable. But why don't we use this conversation here for you to take notes, write some things down, use that as sort of a basis for some things that you want to commit to and some goals that you may want to set. So we're going to have a lot of talk about calories and then also strategizing how to stay on track on Halloween night and for the weekend that follows. But before that, before all the calorie talk, we've got 3 different Halloween themed questions that we would like you to answer. The first one is probably my favorite, and it's simply this. What is your favorite Halloween movie? And if it's not specific to Halloween, you could generalize it to what is your favorite horror movie? So for everyone who's watching, we'd love to hear what are the more popular ones out there. And why don't we start by sharing some of ours here? Sandy, what comes to mind for you? Favorite
Okay.
Halloween or horror movie?
It's a horror movie for me. I'm dating myself. I think I saw it when I was 16 years old, and The Shining impacted me in such a way that if I think about it, I get scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Creepy.
Yeah,
Super,
very, very, very creepy.
super creepy. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, Sandy. Don't forget that.
I'll never forget it. It's embedded in there.
Kate, what about you?
This was a tough one. I grew to like this series, Nightmare on Elm Street. And if you like it, there happened to be 7. I didn't recall there were 7. As a little kid, my older brothers on the good old cassette tape would put underneath my bed the soundtrack. And when I'd go to bed, I'd hear 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. I could sing it all. So a little scary as a young kid, but in my house, you had to grow to love it. So highly recommend the Nightmare on Elm Street series.
That's
We're
totally.
getting some responses from people.
Sixth Sense.
We
Oh my
got
gosh.
John Carpenter's Halloween, the original.
That's Angela, right? And I know that Jennifer who's doing the feed, her favorite one, Lori agrees.
Yeah.
Hocus
Hocus
Pocus.
Pocus.
And Jennifer said by a wide margin.
Wow.
So Lori, you and Jennifer, and then Roseanne said Sixth Sense.
Yes. Yeah. Bob, the Nightmare Before Christmas. So that's a fun one. Go ahead, Sam.
is
Sing the
fun.
main song.
Yeah.
This is Halloween. Everybody make a scream.
Oh, Jennifer. So I knew, if I had a sense of it, she wrote, being a major horror fan, I'm not sure I could choose LOL. Well,
Oh,
I am with you on that one, Jennifer. I love horror movies. Well, keep answering. What is your favorite horror movie? I will just say, guys, that let me just share mine, see if someone had it.
Susan's on my, just so you know, she goes, I can't choose for the opposite reason. I don't like movies scaring me. So there. Thank you, Susan. I'm not the only one.
Good, Susan. We really tried to tempt Nancy into sharing any movie in this direction.
Now, there was one movie, I have to confess, way back. And has anyone ever heard of Wait Until Dark?
Oh, yeah.
no.
That was scary to me.
Yeah. That might have been the thing that sent you over the edge, Nancy.
I think after that, it was like, no more.
Well, so the question, what is your favorite Halloween movie or horror movie? Guys, you don't realize, but there's actually one correct answer to this. And Angela is correct. She and I share the same opinion that the original John Carpenter's Halloween is, in fact, the best Halloween movie. So that's my 2 cents.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
Yay.
Oh, you're kidding me.
I am not. I'm gonna watch it this weekend. I
Creepy
promise.
soundtrack, not a lot of gore, just brilliant. It's just brilliance. Okay. All right.
Just
guys.
say, David said, Poltergeist screwed me up as a child when I snuck into the last 15 minutes of it in the theater.
That's so
Yeah.
funny. We've had bad weather here, guys, recently. All sorts of crazy wind and whatnot. Last night, my wife got woken up by the TV turned on by itself, and it was the Poltergeist snow. So it's so funny that he mentioned that. It's just unbelievable. So scary. Really weird. All right. Thanks for that fun introduction here. Let's get down to business. And we're going to start with the fact, again, our first big theme, the fact that no matter how much self-control you're trying to practice, no matter how much willpower you're trying to exert, there are almost always more calories than you think. So let me just share my screen. You guys can see that?
Yep.
Yeah, so there are several factors at play here. We're kind of building off of some of the themes that we introduced last week on Facebook Live. We're going to discuss each of these. All of these are tendencies, if you will. And unfortunately, tendencies we're often unconscious of. We're not even aware that these things affect our eating. So let's go through these a little bit, guys, share some of our experiences. And for you who are watching, if you have experiences with this impacting your eating and you're aware of it, please chime in here. The first one, if it's there, you'll eat it. Now, this is one that's actually worth pausing on for a minute here, guys. If it's there, you'll eat it. We all have great intentions when there's tempting food around. I'm not going to touch it. Well, it's really for the kids or whatever. But who's found out the hard way that there are times when the simple fact is, if it's there, you'll eat it. Who could start us off here? And I'm asking the audience, do you agree with that there are times when the willpower doesn't matter very much because the food is there and you will eat it? Go, Kate. What's your...
Jen C and I were even talking earlier, like, okay, a strategy might be get the candy you don't like. I can think of times that I don't even like it and it's there and I'm just eating it. And I'm like, why am I doing this? This doesn't even taste good.
Absolutely.
It's there.
You don't have to love the food.
I have two, I'll share one example now and another one later, but I was in a hotel room with family, and we were going to this big thing at night, and you know, it was my husband's side of the family, and they had all these snacks in the room, and you know, like crackers. I do not eat crackers. I was on the bed, and I put my hand into a box of wheat thins,
Yes.
and that was the end of it. I ate the whole box, and it was like I knew I was doing it, and I was like, every time I'd say, well, this is the last handful, this is the last handful.
Mhm.
I finally succeeded in having the last handful.
Yep. Yep. Guys, the agreement from some of our viewers, the conciseness of it is just perfect. Eloise, that's me. I'll leave it. Angela simply says, true. True.
And Susan says, yep.
Yep.
Yep. Nance, you know the old story when I was in the snowstorm with the pizzas in the car.
Oh, that's the best story.
Yeah, I'll give you just the headline on this one, which was I was charged with picking up pizzas with people at our house, and there was a snowstorm, and I was not able to get up the hill. So I'm sitting there with the pizzas, and of course the special one that I wanted was at the top, and I said, well, I'll just have one slice. And I'm in the snowstorm, and I'm in the snowstorm, and I'm in the snowstorm, and I ate the entire thing. Just unbelievable. How about you, Sandy? If it's there, you eat it? True. At time?
If it's there and it's a chip, I eat it.
Yes.
But like Kate, you know, I've had instances, many in my life, where I've thought, oh, you know, I just don't like Tootsie Rolls. So, you know, if that's what we buy, I'm not going to eat it, right? When we're handing out candy. Lo and behold, I eat a few, you know, even in the face of me knowing I'm not even enjoying it, you know, it's ridiculous. Yeah.
All right.
Rick, I think I can one up your pizza story.
Wow. That would be something.
Yes, you won't be surprised knowing me, guys. When I was dating my now husband, I was allegedly trying to impress him, and he had a roommate. They were living in Cambridge, and I made this lovely apple pie crisp. I got stuck behind an accident on Mass Ave and was literally parked. So first I thought, I'm just going to eat around the outside a little bit, crumble up the top, spread it out. We can salvage this. Then I had a couple more bites. Then when I realized it was not salvageable, I just ate the whole pie.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
We're going to talk a little bit later when we get to the fourth thing that has more calories than we think. And it really is this idea of what we say to ourselves in those moments. By the way, Eloise just said, it's so good to hear these stories because I felt alone in this compulsion. Eloise, you are not alone.
No.
You were in good company.
And I just will share, Angela, you know, was sharing a story. She said her husband came home with a 4-pack of ice cream sandwiches, had one before he went to bed, and when he woke up, there were no more. So,
Yes, of course.
you know, it's reality.
Yes. So there are more tendencies that influence how much we eat and sort of support this idea that there's almost always more calories than you think. Let's just cover them quickly, guys. And then we're going to get into some strategies about how can we stay on track during Halloween and the following weekend. So top right, we covered this one last week, and we actually covered some research that supports the fact that the bigger the portion, the more we tend to eat. And the scary thing is we are often, usually, not aware that we're eating more just because we're presented with a bigger portion. So Sandy, take us through just real quick that study that we always love so much, the popcorn study that demonstrated this.
Yeah, just a real quick recap if you missed it last week. So basically, moviegoers were randomly given fresh or stale 2-week-old popcorn. So you got those who were eating the fresh, those who were eating the stale popcorn. They ate more of it when it was given to them in large containers, whether it was the stale stuff or the fresh stuff. And it's just another example of it. If it's there, you'll eat it, even if it's bad tasting, even if it's, you know, normal, you know, it's unpalatable. And if it's presented to us in a large amount, we're just going to eat more of it. That's how we are as humans.
And we're not even aware.
No.
That's
Yeah,
right.
you're eating more.
Yeah. And there are no trends when you look at food production that are going in the other direction. Oh, people want smaller cupcakes and muffins.
I think I
People
shared
don't
this
eat the
example
big
with you
buckets.
guys. There's a street right around the corner for me. It's a long street, and every single house in Halloween gives out large king size candy bars. And of
Wow.
course, there are tons of kids out. And last year, you walk around and you see everyone eating the huge ones. And if you look on the back of them, each one of them was 150 to 200 calories a serving, 4 servings. So each of the candy bars, 600 to 800 calories at a snap of a finger.
I love the 4 servings part of that, Kate. Like, come on. Who doesn't look at that candy bar, no matter how big it is, and say, that's one.
Yeah.
That's my portion. It's a big one, but that's my portion.
I didn't see anyone break it into fourths.
No, I'm sure you didn't. All right. So if it's there, you eat it, and it's the most natural thing in the world, especially when it's tasty food. The bigger the portion, the more you eat. This is a generalizable trend that has been observed in many different studies. Look at the one on the bottom left. The greater the variety, the more you eat. This is another one that has a whole lot of research behind it. We like variety. We need variety. We evolved to want variety. At the time, there were selective advantages to it, but it doesn't work so well in today's food is everywhere, high-fat food culture. So whether it was research on different types of sandwiches versus being sat down, eat as many of you want of this one sandwich, people ate more with multiple sandwiches. Different yogurts. We talked about this last week. People presented with different flavors yogurts. They ate more yogurt than when they were presented with as much as they could want of one yogurt. And then, as we had shared, the summary study of this just this year, a 30 study summary, which concluded that greater variety is, using their words, a robust driver of our food and calorie intake. So these are some really powerful tendencies. The scary thing, guys, is how we're often not aware of it. And yet this is our culture. So you walk through our culture backwards, unaware of the fact that these unconscious tendencies tend to manifest. And the calories are going to be higher than you can even imagine in ways that you don't even understand, because most people are not aware of these tendencies. All right. So let's bring in our second theme here, which is you've got to have a plan. Given the fact that the calories are almost always higher than we anticipate, no matter how careful we're being, you've got to have a plan. And we're focusing on Halloween night, and certainly we can extend it out to really staying on track throughout the Halloween weekend. By the way, Sandy, you made a point in one of our discussions leading up to tonight that these tendencies, which are, they're scary, the fact that they influence our eating when we're not aware of it. Last week, we made a big deal of it, right? You can turn this around.
Right.
If you have a greater variety of healthy food, guess what? You're more likely to eat more of the healthy, low-calorie food. If you have bigger portions of healthy, supportive, low-calorie food, you're more likely to eat more of that. And all that does is insulate you from the less supportive food choices out there.
We can use our human tendencies to serve our better needs for healthy eating.
That's exactly, absolutely right. It just shows how important it is to have a supportive environment. So you've got to have a plan. So let's now roll up our sleeves, asking all of you who are watching, what is your plan? And you don't have to share the whole thing. What's one strategy that you're considering or that you've used before that has helped you to limit food choices and thus limit calorie intake while still being able to enjoy the night, for example, on this Halloween? Please, let's see if we could brainstorm some ideas and write them down. Let's use these again as the basis for any plans that you might want to take on for Halloween night or the weekend that follows.
Right.
So the goal is limiting food choices, not limiting enjoyment. What are some strategies? Nancy, you've always talked about there's another value to having a plan that really pushes on the to-do behaviors. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think, I think going into the event or the situation and being aware of it and really working to try to manage it, to stay on track, it has such a value, right? Because it if you had momentum anyway, you're keeping that momentum going. And then the next day, it's just that much easier to continue to stay on track. When you do kind of go off track, it's always harder to kind of pick yourself up and get back on track, right? And it sometimes it takes a while to get back on track. So
Yes.
just again, if you can not, and again, if that happens and you do go off track, absolutely start again. Don't ever not start again. But again, if you can avoid that having to like start from scratch again, it just makes it easier.
Yeah.
So
You make this point all the time, Nancy, like there's a mindset. Your mindset is affected when you take on, in a positive way, when you take on a push
very
and
reinforcing.
accomplish it.
Mhm.
For me personally, I wonder where you guys land on this. You know, the benefits for the day are great, better calorie management. I actually think for me personally, because Nancy, you do give me 1-day pushes all the time.
Yeah.
I think that the mindset benefits might actually outweigh the 1-day calorie benefits because they tend to carry through to other days when I push
Absolutely.
myself and follow through on a plan.
You feel so good. You feel accomplished and confident and all right, I'm going to do that again. It's a whole, like a self-confidence and just self-care. I mean, to some degree,
Empowering, it's
right?
very empowering.
Very empowering. So
It's building momentum. It's building motivation. And we've always said, right, throughout all of our Facebook lives, that motivation just doesn't come. It usually follows behaviors. So that's the old 1-day plan.
Right.
Those are the behaviors.
and as we're looking, people are writing strategies, but the other thing I would want to say is there's always something you can do, right? It can, so like take any situation, and even if it looks like really challenging, there's something you can figure out to do. So, and if you're having trouble figuring it out, ask us.
Yes.
And we got a lot of people here to throw out some ideas. So
Mhm.
be making notes of things that you like as we're saying them. So what are we getting here?
Yeah, so I lost it 1 second. I know somebody was talking about their husband buys the candy for the kids, but the kids never come. So the candy's then in their house. So she makes her husband take it out of the house, so out of sight.
Isn't that funny? It's kind
Yeah.
of be interesting. How many years have the kids not come? And the husband's buying the candy. And it's like,
Buy it for the kids.
So Marie, maybe this year you have a conversation with your husband and ask him not to buy it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't even go down that tunnel. And if he really wants to have some, maybe he buys it and keeps it in his car or someplace where you're not available. So maybe you can really make it even easier for yourself this year.
Yeah.
David's got a nice preload strategy. He has a humongous salad every afternoon. David, are you planning on doing that? Again, is it going to be closer to the Halloween, the night, the event itself? Are you adapting that plan in any way? Would also like to know what you put on there. Do you have a low calorie salad dressing that you really are digging right now? And then Bob, he's got the great one. People often don't think to do this. Not only does he just get it the day before, as opposed to in August, Nancy, when you bought yours.
For the first time. No.
Yes, the first time. Yes,
Yeah.
he buys candy he doesn't like. So that's smart. Really.
Yeah. Jill takes the leftover candy to the fire station. I don't know
Oh,
if people
that's a
know
good
that,
idea.
but that's a lot of fire stations will take your leftover candy.
Because a lot of times they'll pack them up and send them overseas to the troops.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that feels good if you're doing
Yeah.
something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Shayna, I'm going to carry some mints. So if I eat a piece of chocolate, I will pop a mint in afterwards so I don't keep eating chocolate.
Mhm.
Gum would work too. Yeah.
And then, Kate, what do you have a specific shake you want to bring with you when you go out? 'Cause
Yeah, I
maybe
mean, I
even
love
having-
this one. This is a chocolate peanut butter with coconut skinny syrup. To me, it kind of tastes like Reese's peanut butter meets Almond Joy, perhaps. And David also brought a really great point about just knowing how hard you have to work to offset the calories. I compare this shake that I can make. We're looking at 150 calories. It was more than 15 ounces when I made it, 10 calories an ounce. And then you compare that to some of the candies that you're going to get. It's going to be more calories. You know, Reese's peanut butter cup, 220, 1.5 ounces,
Yeah.
150 for my shake, and you can make it as big as you want.
That's a quarter of your that big candy bar.
Yeah.
But
I
the
mean,
real
I have so
serving-
many things that
Right.
I do. I feel like over the years I've become more skilled. The big dinner before, entree, tons of veggies. I have
Mhm.
fallen into either what you had mentioned before, Nancy, the pizza party I stumbled across, or perhaps missing dinner altogether
Mm.
and then being out for hours and in trouble. I have tons of things, definitely sip on the shake. And I actually give out flashing rings, glow sticks, and bracelets. So in my home, I am not giving out any candy.
Yeah, one of those articles that you sent around, the kids actually really like those.
They do.
It's not like the apple that gets thrown back at the house.
Yeah.
Great, Kate.
Or the toothbrushes.
Yes,
You
my
said you had a
neighbor,
that
the
does-
dentist gives out toothbrushes.
Kate, 220 calories. Speaking of skills, how successful are you at eating 1.5 ounces of chocolate?
Especially when you're
I
hungry.
know
you haven't had
David here is
dinner.
a numbers person, so you're immediately calculating, okay, I have to go this number of miles to offset these few bites. Then I eat this candy, and you can't possibly go enough miles.
Yeah. Susan, I love your comment. This one is, it just speaks to awareness. I said this earlier, but my strategy is just to not let myself have even one candy. You can't eat just one, like the commercial says. The idea that it's actually easier to eat none
Yeah.
than it is one. That turns some people's heads around a little bit, but
Yeah.
that's not true. It's true for me.
Yeah.
So true.
It's I have to do it that way. I've
Mhm.
learned.
Yeah.
It's easier for me to just not get started.
Yeah.
But what Kate's talking about, and we're all talking about, and some of you as well, is, so what are you going to eat? Right? It's not
Yes.
like you're just going to like steal and everything, but you have the Tootsie Roll shake, big shake, or the mousse, or the huge meal of some sort. Coach Nicole was making a big vegetarian chili. She's in phase 2. And baked potatoes and having that for her kids before they go out trick-or-treating. Like,
That's
really
exactly what we're
filling.
having on Halloween.
I mean, yeah, and of course you could do it with the turkey chili if you're needing to be in the box, but just it makes a lot of sense.
Gina threw in doing PA in the morning. Boy, isn't it interesting how PA can impact your other health choices?
I love her saying here. I might have to adopt this. If you can't have one, the choice is none. Gina just mentioned that.
I
That's
like
great.
that.
That's great.
That reminds me of one that you came up with, Nancy, long
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
Don't go where you can't say no. That kind of reminds me of that.
That's
Yeah.
great.
I
I'm
like
gonna write these down. These are good.
I better stay in my home on Sunday.
They stick in your brain,
Yeah.
kind of like
Guys,
The Shining.
Let's pause for a minute. Okay, we're talking about the fact that, and we've been reviewing different factors that we're sometimes unaware of, where the calories, even if we think we're being on top of them, are almost always more than we think. It's just the nature of calories. And then you throw the human mind on there and some of these little glitches that we all have. If it's there, you eat it. The more foods that's there, the more you're likely to eat. The more varieties there, the more you're likely to eat, volume wise, without even being aware of it. All of these things. And now we've just brainstormed some different strategies. And hopefully, for those of you watching, it's sparking, if you haven't already thought about what is your plan on Halloween night and what are you going to continue to do after that. We're going to continue that conversation, but let's take a break for our second Halloween themed question, guys. Are you guys ready?
Ready?
All right. We want to hear from our audience too. What is your most memorable Halloween costume? Take a moment, go down memory lane, and let's hear what your favorite Halloween costume was. I'm going to start off by sharing what our moderator, Coach Jen, was. I kind of wish that she had given us a picture of this.
I
one.
know, this sounds so cute.
Yeah. So Jen was a cell phone. And if that doesn't already have you raising your eyebrows, and it actually rang. So somehow she figured out a bell situation for the cell phone.
I guess her mom found the costume and it was kind of like, you can picture, the old fashioned cell phones when they were bigger.
Oh God.
And, and like, so it came up like this and her head was a hole in it. It just must
Yep.
have been really cute.
A lot of thumbs up for that one. The old Gordon Gecko cell phone, the big, huge square thing, what Jerry Seinfeld saying. This guy's
Oh, yeah.
cell phones on. And,
Figure
Oh
this out.
yeah, and the shows, that's the thing that outdates them because they're so,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, because the clothes are back a little bit. The clothes aren't always a surefire way of knowing.
I like this. Dave Wilton was a table once.
Yeah, I saw that.
To see what that looked like. And then Susan was a crazy Red Sox fan, 2004.
Mm.
Oh, that's good.
Gina was one of a pair of dice with my best friend.
Oh,
That's great, Gina. I
Yeah.
love
we
that.
got Glenda the Good Witch from Angela.
Yeah, that is really good.
Oh,
I love it.
these are great.
I wouldn't mind a picture of Dave as the table.
I know,
I
that's
know.
fascinating. And what was yours, Rick? You're into this Halloween. What was
Oh,
yours?
well, you guys know I threatened that I might show this. It's
Yeah, show everybody.
probably my favorite Halloween costume. And just the quick backstory on this. I don't know if I should be embarrassed. This wasn't that long ago. I was actually older than 50 when I did this, but my brother and I are very close, and his son used to throw these pretty big house parties at a college here in Boston. And my brother got the brainchild idea of, let's dress up, see if we could sneak by him. He works the door and crash his party without him knowing. And little did I know that this would be just a wild success. So, my brother and I, this was Night of the Walking Broskies, not zombies, broskies. So let me see if this cues up here for us. Here we are.
Perhaps masking your age.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You know what, guys? Those zombies are in tough shape, but I have to say they have good hair.
They had hair, Rick.
Those zombies.
They had hair, which is more than you could say. Anyway,
Yes, more than I could say. All right, so back to Kate. Quick, what was your costume?
It seemed like a good idea at the time. I was a roller skating waitress. It was a day like yesterday that it was torrentially downpouring. So on my uneven streets and sidewalks and stairs, I was like roller skating in the rain. But I had a blast. I was about 12.
Fantastic.
beautiful.
All right, so
I think a couple of other really cute ones. I went to a party with two friends and we were the Conehead family.
Oh, fun.
Yeah,
A
the
queen bee
Conehead.
with a tiara. That sounds really cute. Batman back in the 1960s.
all right, Bob. Batman was my very first one.
All right.
10 or something. Yes, good.
Oh, great. All right. I love it. Okay.
All right, so back to the matter at hand. We've got two themes. The first one is that we're sort of drawing out the argument that there are always more calories than you think, no matter how careful and conscientious you're trying to be. There are tendencies that we're often unaware of that influence our calorie intake. We've covered the fact that if it's there, you'll eat it. If not, then at some point, the bigger the portion, the more you'll eat without being aware of it. The greater the variety, the more you'll eat without being aware of it. Now that brings us to this last one. And guys, it's a biggie.
Mhm.
It is easy to kid yourself. So a couple of things here. The first is it is just natural, and the studies could not be clearer on this, Nancy, right? We went back to
Yes.
the 80s. There's studies every decade on this, the 80s, the 90s, 2000s, and right up until, Nancy, you could share one about 2021, but
Yeah.
one of my favorite ones was New England Journal of Medicine study, maybe one of our finest journals. People who were diet resistant, in other words, they weren't losing weight. And, this is common to say, like, if I eat over 1,000 calories, I'll gain weight. They put them in what were called closed metabolic wards, right in the research facility for 2 weeks straight. And the conclusion was people were underestimating their calorie intake by an average of 1,050 calories per day.
That's amazing.
And by the way, they overestimated their exercise by over 50% as well. So nothing special about these people. This is what humans do. This is what we all do. We tend to not want to confront quite as much as something might be when it's something we might feel guilty about, calories being a perfect example. Nancy, give us another one.
Yeah, or that you just don't realize how many calories that are in something too.
Yeah, they're
Like, you know,
hidden.
so- yeah, I mean, and I do want to give this, but even, you know, your example about the Texas Roadhouse, you know, getting a baked potato, assuming great, and then finding out later that it was soaked
Don't say
in
it.
bacon fat. I mean,
Oh, soaked in bacon fat.
yeah, you wouldn't. I mean, so there's a great example of, you know, even when you're trying, but you know, here a group of very successful weight loss managers. This is a big ongoing study, and to be in the study, you have to have lost at least 30 pounds and have kept it off for more than a year. And this group had been keeping off way more than that. But even with them, they were underestimating their daily calories by about 600, 605. So
That's
it's
astonishing.
it's just easy to do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Over the course of a week, that was a daily underestimate, 605. So
Yeah.
over the course of a week times 7, 4,200, it's over a pound.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. All right. So it's easy to kid yourself. We've just hit on the fact that calories are hidden and we're often unaware of how many calories. And if you think you know, you probably don't. And that we all, that applies to all of us. But there's another aspect to this tendency of kidding ourselves. And this is the most normal thing in the world. There's a tendency to come up with little excuses, maybe promises, certainly rationalizations that can lead to eating more calories. So just to sort of put that concept under the microscope, let me share a statement. And I want our viewers and I want you guys just to comment. What's your first reaction off the top of your head? You ready? I'm just going to have one bite. Or related to Halloween candy, you know what? I'm just going to have one piece. Respond to that. So as a viewer, please, what's your response to that? Top of your head, do you have a candid reaction to that as we're talking about this tendency that we all have to kid ourselves? Nancy, what's your reaction to it?
I mean, I can think of so many, but it's just like, well, it's been a good day. I deserve it. It's been a long week. I'm tired. I deserve it.
Yes, I deserve it. That one feels super justified.
Mhm.
Super justified. Kate, I'm just going to have one piece. React.
I might have just one Snickers and then one Kit Kat and then one Reese's and then one, and I'll have one of 50 different candies.
Yes. Yeah. Eloise responds, yeah, sure. And Susan says, Sue Lopez, sorry, how we said it, Sue Sternberg, yeah, right. That's called some self-awareness right there. Sandy.
I don't know if I have anything more to add. I think it's all been said, but
Yeah.
you know, it's just a slippery slope. Yeah, and we just kid ourselves to think that it's going to be different. Yeah.
But I mean, we really can justify it in so many different ways, right? So
Mhm.
I'm going to just have one piece. It's been a bad day. You know, I need this, or I
Every
just
day,
want to take a
yeah.
bite and make sure it's okay for other people to eat, or, I mean, it's vacation, it's a holiday, on and on.
Yeah.
Bob says, I won't use the words that I'm thinking. That's so-
Carolyn says, put a 0 after that 1, please.
Carolyn. Hey, Carolyn. That's great. Yeah, exactly. Gina says, when have I ever been able to do that before? And that's a very good question.
Yeah.
Like suddenly I'm now going to have one when my history is, and Sandy, you said it, for me, it's the salty savory.
Oh
The
yeah.
chips, forget it.
Yeah.
Just forget it. Yeah,
Yeah.
tough. All right, so we've thrown that on. So if it's there, we're likely to eat it. Yeah, if there's more there, we're likely to eat more of it. If it's a greater variety, we're likely to eat more of it. And then map onto that this idea that it's very natural and normal to kid yourself in many different ways, particularly when the calories are hidden and very sneaky as they are. So given that, let's come back to Halloween night and the fact that given the sneakiness of calories, you got to have a plan. What is your plan? We brainstormed a number of different strategies. let's brainstorm a few more. What are some ideas that will support you to limit food choices without limiting enjoyment for the evening, allowing you to stay on track for Halloween and maybe the days after that?
Yeah, and I was thinking if you're going to some sort of a party, either a neighborhood party or a different party, what is your strategy for that? If there's a party at work, and you think about Halloween Sunday night, I can only imagine what Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday are going to look like at workplaces.
Right.
So really think about what's the strategy that's going to help you with all this. Assume it's going to be worse than.
I would stress the after plan. In my pre-HMR days, I had some years that went a little better than others in the moment. And then, like you were talking about, you have the candy that you just keep eating for days upon days. So what I've done in the recent years is the switch comes to the home, and my older kids write a letter saying I will donate lots of my candy to a great cause. Like you were saying, Nancy, there's lots of organizations that will take candy, and the switch will leave them a little something. Then we have to make sure I'm not the switch to then consume the candy. I have to get it out of the house, but I can just kid myself and be eating some for days, and really not think it's a big deal when certainly it adds up. So the after plan is even most crucial for me, even beyond just the during.
Yeah, I think that's true for a lot. It's kind of like you can get through the Thanksgiving meal sometimes, and then the evening comes and it's again, the willpower only lasts so long, right? So having a strategy, something you can look forward to after also. And I love that switch process.
To me, Kate, you'll like this. We talked about this in the group. High volume shakes is just nothing that fills me up. And they're sweet. You can make them so tasty. That's absolutely going to be a part of my Halloween night. Nancy, I went to go get that pumpkin spice. I still couldn't find it, but you know what? My eyes landed on coconut extract, and I thought, one of those things that has
I love coconut.
My routine.
Oh, and I love coconut.
I bought the big coconut extract. I love doing that with the chocolate. I love doing it with the vanilla. So I want to do something with the coconut extract part of my Halloween night. I have one other question for you guys. Another thing to put under the microscope. So the idea of getting rid of the candy. True confessions, I shared this with you guys. Last year, I had leftover Halloween candy because we buy too much through almost all of November. So a few people who were watching already offered that as a strategy, like get rid of the candy. But if you're watching and you haven't really thought to do that, Nancy, talk a little bit. I love this perspective you've always shared around when your environment is supporting you, that it's so much less stress and anxiety. So you say stress and anxiety, now you got my interest up. Say a little bit more about like the argument, because it's hard to throw out the candy or to give it away because kind of part of you wants to keep it. So speak a little bit about that, man.
Well, anything like that. So let's picture the candy and it's in your pantry or in a cupboard or whatever. I don't know about you, but I am aware of that candy 24/7. It may be out of my sight, but I know it's there. And I can go upstairs and I know it's down. It's just like I can't get it out of my head. And that's stressful. And all that time, even if it's subconscious, I'm fighting not going in to get another candy. And that's brutal. When it's gone, the whole thing's gone, right? You no longer have that bugging you 24/7, and you can kind of settle in and relax in your home again. I mean, it's that powerful for me.
Yeah. And it's good to be mindful and aware of what foods have that kind of power over you. Some have greater power than others, depending on our bent towards sweet or savory. So it's really good that you're bringing that up.
For some, it's the ice cream, or as you said, it could be the chips or the nuts or whatever. But, if you've got one of those that, this sounds familiar, that's a really good thing to not have it.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you guys saw Gina's recipe. I'm planning to make chocolate PB bark, chocolate pudding, vanilla with PB pudding, layered and then freeze and break into pieces to eat while I'm handing out candy, a to-do behavior.
Mm,
So a number of
sounds
folks in the feed, a couple of people mentioned cutting up bars. I know, Rick, you and our group spoke about the high volume shakes, but you think about what your taste preference is, and then you find something
Yeah.
within the scope of the diet. And then I love, of course, the notion of just not having those temptations around.
Yep.
It's
I know.
brutal.
My favorite candy bar of all time is Almond Joy. And I know a couple years ago we were handing out candy and I made an Almond Joy shake and drank it while we handed out candy. And it was for that reason, so that I could kind of satisfy that, tendency
Craving,
towards
really.
that. Yeah, that craving.
Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah, it
great.
really
Did it
helped.
work?
It did work.
That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a
Really
couple
great.
years ago.
All right, so we've covered a lot of strategies. Hopefully this has been a helpful conversation. Guys, I think we would be remiss if we didn't revisit one more time a Halloween themed question. We've been talking about how tempting candy can be, what a problem it can be, how sneaky it can be. Let's use this last question to make fun of candy. All right. And here is the question, final question. Need you who are watching to weigh in on this one. What is the most overrated candy? This is an interesting question because boy, do people's opinions differ.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was very unpopular in a meeting. I think Rick booed me because I said, do you remember, Rick? I said peppermint patties. But
Oh.
the reason I said overrated is because I took a teeny one and it was 80 calories.
Yes.
And
Okay.
it was like not even a bite.
Yeah, but
So
this isn't
overrated
about the
because-
calories, Kate. That's not what this is
Hey,
about.
Kate, just for set the record straight, I was the one booing you. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's be real clear about that. Look, guys, there's only one answer to this question. It's the Three Musketeers.
The
bar.
Three Musketeers.
What the heck is going on
Yeah,
with the Three
you're
Musketeers?
Jeff.
bar?
It's 3/4 air.
It's
I mean, come on.
3/4.
candy. No one ever said, I could do with a little more nougat. No one ever said that.
No
Ever.
man on
Well,
earth.
I think it's something like Starburst. I do not get the.
Oh, Nance.
I don't get
Have you
that.
not had the strawberry ones?
I just those don't. I don't get it.
Hey, you know what's number two? Julie has just said it. Right behind Three Musketeers for me is Peeps.
Oh
Oh.
yeah.
Oh,
My kids love those peeps. Love
Oh.
them.
Candy corn. I have to agree with that. Candy corn.
Yeah. It's like
Hey.
wax.
Those like sugar sticks. I don't know. Those are
hey,
also yucky.
Sandy.
Yes.
Sandy, in our group today, Nancy asked this question in our phase 2 group. And in the 6 answers of most overrated candy, 2 different people said almond joys.
Yeah, believe it.
No.
Yeah, I was surprised.
Dara and then Sue. And then
So, and they're both here tonight. They both said almond joys.
but
I
if
was
that
like,
wasn't
Sandy
enough,
is offended.
Sue, Sue then threw on top of it, in fact, anything with coconut.
Oh, no.
So
That's a sad,
Oh.
sad state of affairs.
yes, that's a
oh, we
very-
got a Tootsie Roll. That was one we heard today too. Tootsie
Yeah.
Rolls,
Yes.
not a favorite. I actually liked Tootsie Rolls, but
your daughter said that this is another warranted another round of booze for me. Was she said Snickers, and then she expanded it by saying yes, anything. She said I don't need candy with nuts.
Oh, she's not my daughter.
she said her grandma put up nuts in everything, so she doesn't like nuts. She said.
She's
She's
teaching
not
in
even big
groups.
on
She can't even
chocolate.
defend herself.
No,
I know
no.
she's not. The other thing, like a lot of people said, things like sweet tarts and the sour patch. They weren't in love with that type of thing either, which I'm agreeing with. But anyway,
Sarah
Even
asked
back
the
to our
black licorice.
example before, Nancy, if it's there, even if we don't like it,
Yeah.
we could eat it.
yeah, that's right. That's right.
Well, before we finish, there is data
Yeah.
on this, the most overrated candy. So let's put it up. Kate, one last quickie from that fabulous article that you shared with us. The worst Halloween candy, and this was 50 states weighed in on this. So what are some surprises here, guys?
Smarties.
Smarties.
That surprises me that that's
They're
on
pretty
there.
tasty.
I like
There's
Smarties.
nothing that surprises me. It's on there.
Sandy, I joked with you earlier. You seem like a wax cola bottle girl.
I like Necco wafers to use to decorate gingerbread houses, but as far as eating them, and they come from our area.
England, yeah.
I
remember-
know. It's
yeah.
sad that but to eat them just never appealed to me.
No,
Guys,
I remember-
this circus peanuts,
Ugh.
how is it possible that these have been around for as long as they've been around? I just don't understand it.
I don't either. I
It's
don't
the
get
life's
it.
mysteries.
They
Yeah.
might not be trending up on that chart, Rick. They might be on the downswing.
Yes, yes. All right, so we'll take
All
that
right.
off. I'll just end this by saying, Sandy, please tell Hanukkah that I will trade her 5 Three Musketeer bars for 1 Snickers. Okay.
Don't say that in front of Coach Nancy.
I was going to say, Rick, be careful what you're saying.
I didn't finish for my daughter.
Oh, yeah, right.
For
Okay.
your daughter.
I do hope everyone is leaving here with some strategies that you can use that are going to support you to have a night where you're enjoying yourself, but not feeling like regretting it the next day. So hopefully we know we've had a lot of humor, but you can find something.
Absolutely. Yep. So thanks for joining us tonight. Hope you had fun. I know we did.
We had a lot of fun.
We've got guests lined up for next week to join us. Russ will be representing phase 1. Diane will be representing a long time in phase 2. Just lights out, fantastic success stories. And we're going to start talking about the holidays. It may seem early, but it's not, because once
Mm-mm.
Halloween is behind us, well, the national eating season, well, I guess it kicks off the national eating
Yeah, I
season.
mean, we're already in it, started it.
Yeah,
Right.
so mark your calendars and we will see you then. And in the meantime, have a happy and successful Halloween, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Be safe too.
Watch Halloween. Best movie.